Hi, Christina. How are you doing?
Hey, Teresa. I'm happy it's Friday. How are you?
Good. Well, welcome everybody. This is Spirited.
Politics.
All right. Well, how was your week, Christina?
Um, you know, um, let's see. My week was okay. I had my first week back to work after recovering from a major surgery and spent a lot of time in my garden, which is kind of my happy place. And been trying to stay informed, but also not get totally sunk by all the crazy stuff that's happening out there right now.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff happening right now for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How was your week, Teresa?
It was good. It was got the taxes all done, celebrating my dad's 90th birthday. Woohoo!
Oh,
Yeah, so it was good. And
awesome.
also keeping in track of what's happening, politically. But I have a good distraction right now.
Okay.
I love like watching courts and stuff like that. So, Lori Daybell is in trial right now, and she's doing her own defending, and
Oh,
she's her own lawyer. Um,
okay.
yeah, and so it's quite entertaining. So it's been distracting for me from the dumpster fire that we've been having
The
politically.
Trumpster fire.
Yes. But I have to say, after like watching the trial that's happening place with Lori Daybell, she's obviously has some mental illness. And there's a lot of gaslighting, and it kind of looked a little familiar. Something
How
that we're
so?
seeing happening in our in the White House.
Which part, the gaslighting or the mental illness?
All the above. In our opinion.
In our opinion, yes.
Yeah, so we're still allowed to have that, thank goodness.
So what felt like was coming up for you in terms of the similarities?
What was it? Can you repeat it one more time?
Oh, yeah. What felt like was coming up for you in terms of the similarities, my joke aside about the
Well, for example, you know, there's a lot of evidence that she did kill her two kids. And, but there's family tragedies that really happen.
okay.
And kids just don't die accidentally. And
Yeah.
I was kind of like watching, Trump had his cabinet meeting, and he was talking about how the economy is so great and how there's no inflation and everything is peachy. And it's like, okay, no. That's a little bit of gaslighting.
Right. I mean, he also told everyone on his campaign trail that tariffs would in no way drive up prices for the American consumer. So, not to be trusted, but people still trust him. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a little bit of it's been a little challenging,
yeah.
a little scary, I kind of look forward to this is past us and we can move forward and we can just kind of not have to wake up every morning to see what's the next fire? What's happening in our politics?
Yeah. I mean, I wonder when that will be because I mean, it seems like he's just on this like scorched earth campaign of epic proportions for which he isn't really facing any consequences. And even when the courts um, refute him, like the Supreme Court said today, like that poor father who got accidentally sent to this El Salvadorian prison, and they're not really making any efforts to try to fix it or get him back. Uh, um, the Supreme Court today 9-0. I mean, it's very rare that the Supreme Court ever unanimously decides on something, and they all said that he should be brought back. But it seems like even so, Trump is just actively defying court orders to the point where saying like judges who rule against anything that is not in his favor, they should be impeached. And I guess, yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. And I'm just wondering when the day will come that he will face any level of consequences because it feels like right now he's just thinking he can do whatever he wants and get away with it. And nobody's really proving him wrong, you know?
Yeah. But the more that he shoots himself in the foot, the better it's going to be for us because we can just say, not say that we told you so, but it's people are slowly waking up.
Yeah, I get that sense too.
And
How
we
many
just,
millions of people turned out for the rallies last weekend?
yeah. And so we just literally just have to ride this wave until it crashes. And it's not going well for him, like really going well for him. So it's going to be an ugly crash when this wave does come in. And of course, we'll have to pick up the pieces but we're going to be there to do that. So,
We will.
you know,
And for our viewers, I don't know if you're ready to roll this out yet, but I just wanted to share something incredible that you've shown me that you started doing is the tarot deck you've been
yes.
creating,
Yes.
which is amazing.
Yeah, so it's going to be a tarot deck kind of how do I say this? Kind of American tarot deck using like, you know, Rosa Parks and JFK Jr. and Statue of Liberty, and using those symbols in the tarot deck to kind of help us, you know, to understand it a little bit better, because, you know, kind of bring it up to today's, I don't know, reflections, I guess.
It's incredible. I mean, when you shared so the cards you've been working on with me, I'm like, wow, this is the first of its kind where you're using this really great symbolism, these archetypes, these real historical archetypes, um, to embody the deck, and also sharing a little bit of history around that person or situation in a card. So, I mean, it's really wonderful.
Well, I have to say, Christina, I was really kind of struggling. I wasn't feeling very American. I have to be honest with you. I was feeling a little bruised and like disappointed and feeling like, nothing really matters, blah, 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 blah. And Senator
Cory Booker,
Cory, yeah, did his
of
25
Cory.
25-hour plus speech on the floor. And I have to say that it was really incredible. And he said something really important. Are you there with us, Christina? Christina. Okay, she'll come with us. Well,
Yeah,
so anyway, what I was saying was he said something really important in his speech. He said, does the Constitution live within your heart, or does it just live in your on paper? And I thought, wow, that's so important. Because the Constitution's just not for every citizen. It's for anyone that's
hmm
here in this country, anyone around the borders of this country. Doesn't matter if you're an immigrant, doesn't matter if you're a criminal, it doesn't matter who you are. That Constitution lives for all of us that's in the United States. And I thought, you know what? The Constitution lives in my heart. And that's really important. And it kind of sparked me kind of falling in love again with this country because I was feeling a little, I wouldn't say out of love, but just bruised, just, feeling defeated. Didn't know where we're going to go. And that kind of like really kind of sparked a fire back in me.
that's awesome. That, you know, and I think it's truly American to protest, to stand up for your ideals, to want things to be better, I mean, the whole liberty and justice for all, even though at the time when they wrote it, they pretty much only meant for by then.
Yeah.
But I mean, the principles on which the country was run, I mean, we will have no kings. This will not be a monarchy. Um, if anything, I would say you're being more American than not right now to want to stand up for your country and see those ideals really come to pass.
Yeah. I'm going to show a little clip with Corey, Senator Corey. He
Please.
was on the Late Late Show. It's going to be a very short clip because I don't want us to get in trouble. But I share my screen right here. I'm going to pull him up. Share. Here we go. Share screen. Do you see it, Christina?
I do.
Okay, it's going to be a short, and he's talking, talking about his experience of doing his 25-hour talk, and he says something really important here. It's about a minute long.
Okay.
New Jersey actually did the first ever protest in front of the White House. And then when they arrested her, and what they do to often strong women, especially back in those days, they put her in a insane asylum. Before Gandhi, she was going on hunger strikes in prison. And it was the First Amendment, the press that told her story, shamed the country. And the President of the United States, who she was protesting, came out and joined the suffrage movement. It has always been the people of this nation during the abolitionist movement, the greatest infrastructure project the history of America was white people and black people in the abolitionist movement joining together to create the Underground Railroad, liberating people, not waiting for Washington to do it. And so that should teach us right now. There are good people in Washington, hardworking people on both sides of the aisle that have done good things. But real change, especially in the moral moments in our country, when the character of our nation is in the balance, like right now, it has always been the change led by the people. And that's why in that speech, I wanted to center the voices of Americans. And
That was so powerful what he had to
Oh,
say there.
Cory Booker, you're my hero.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing. And that's just really important to really remember that we are the people and we all have a constitution. And, so many times we kind of question, how do we talk to our Republican friends? How do we extend that, olive branch?
Hmm.
And the one thing that we all agree to, and we're all blessed, and we're all a part of, is our Constitution. That's our branch, is that our president swore on the with the Bible that he was going to follow the Constitution, and that all of us are guided and we are all protected by our Constitution. And that's just something that I think maybe our olive branch is to just kind of focus about the Constitution.
I like that. Um, I think it was interesting that unlike many past presidents, uh, uh, he did not put his hand on the Bible when he was swearing the oath to the Constitution. But be that as it may, you're right. I like what you have to say. I mean, that is that olive branch that we could extend because I think even people who are diametrically opposed to us politically could still be in line with the Constitution. I mean, obviously, we have some people out there right now who I don't think really care about that. They just care more about that their own agenda gets served, or as in the case with the very, very rich, they just care about their profits. But I think you're right. The average everyday American at heart cares about that Constitution.
Yes. And so just moving forward, that's what I'm going to try to really focus on, you know, even though it's a challenge sometimes.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like it is everything that, it's supposed to be freedom of religion. And I mean, right now, I wouldn't even say that we're a Christian nation. We're going completely against the principles of Jesus and all the things that he professed. Even if you just want to look at the Old Testament with the Ten Commandments, um, we're a major violation of those. Um, and but we're supposed to be a nation that's free from religion and free from religious prosecution. We're supposed to have free assembly, the right to speak out, the right to have free speech, the right to protest, the separation of church and state. And right now, I think that's one of the reasons that the Constitution was removed from the White House website, because I don't think they have any intention of honoring it or following it. So it really, I'm so happy you shared that clip from Cory Booker, because it really, people like him really give me hope, in addition to everyday people out there right now who are fighting. But whenever I know some people who say, oh, every politician is corrupt, every politician. No, Cory Booker is a really good guy. To be on the Senate floor, the bathroom once, didn't take a break. And I love that he broke the previous record. I don't know if you heard about that, the previous record by Strom Thurmond, who was a renowned white,
Apprentice.
the Civil Rights Act, because I mean, God forbid we give everyone the same rights. So I love that a black man spoke for longer than a white supremacist.
And he just didn't just speak, he did speeches, he shared stories, he
Yeah.
communicated his hopes, have you seen, I deal with a lot of customers, and a lot of customers are deciding to go, that they're here legally, but because of the politics of this country, they're choosing to go back to Africa, or they're choosing to go back to Europe because they don't feel safe. And I actually
Really?
met with a customer yesterday, and I go, "How's your day?" And she's like, "Oh, good. I spent about an hour and a half at the post office today." She goes, "I'm getting my passport." She goes, "I don't want to be taken out of this country." And I was kind of like, "You kind of look like an American. You kind of like a white lady. Like, I don't think you're going to trouble, woman." And she's like, "And I just want to have my passport with me." She goes, "Because you just don't know what's going to happen in this country right now." And I was like, she goes, "And nothing else." She goes, "I can maybe at least use it to look
Amen,
up,
sister.
And that was just so like, this is a citizen. She's getting her passport. She is a white urban white woman, but she's even concerned about what's happening in this country. It's kind of speechless.
Wow. Do you have your passport?
I do not have my
Yeah.
passport. I need to work on
Yeah.
that. Do you have your passport?
Okay. I do actually. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've had it for a while now, because I've traveled internationally for some time, and it's good till 2027. And I'm even wondering, can I renew it? Because they last for 10 years. And I'm wondering what the stipulations are around that. I think usually it's 9 months before the expiration date, but I'm going to see what I can do to extend it. So,
Yeah.
and a few Democrats who, oh, so frustrating, passed something called the SAVE Act. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Yes, I did.
It's massive voter suppression. So anyone now who registers to vote will either need, you can't just use a driver's license anymore. They want you to have your ID in addition to either a passport or a birth certificate. And that's going to disenfranchise a lot of people who, for example, people of color who maybe didn't get their birth certificate because of certain laws around segregation when they were born, or women who want to register for a birth certificate doesn't match the name on their ID. And so a lot of that now, I'm telling my married friends, if they don't have a passport, make sure to get a passport.
Mm-hmm.
Because even people who are registered to vote aren't necessarily safe, because they've heard voter rolls so many times. So we could go back and have to re-register. And for those of us whose birth certificates match, that's okay if we have access to our birth certificate. But yeah, I would definitely I would look into that passport, my friend.
Yes, I will. Yeah, it's
Okay.
important. I know. It's just, like my mom said, when I was mad and I was like, I'm going to Canada. She's like, Teresa, you're not going to get very far. You don't have your passport.
Right. They changed that in recent years. Mexico and Canada, you didn't have to have a passport to fly to those countries. And I'm curious to know how many people, I haven't looked this up yet, but how many other countries have put us on a list where they're advising their own citizens that it's detained everybody. They detained a German rock band. They've detained, I mean, scientists and professors, and it's, yeah.
Well, you know what's really interesting to me is normally when a new president comes in office, he travels. Have you noticed that no one has left this country?
JD Vance has gone to Greenland.
Yes, but not the president, and I wonder if he can. Because a lot of countries, if you're a felon, you can't go to their country.
Uh, I think he just doesn't care about diplomatic missions, and the only place where he's interested in traveling to is his golf course, which, by the way, I mean, is crazy because for someone who's interested in rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, and he's already spent, close to $50 million for all of his golf trips, his trip to the Super Bowl, his trip to NASCAR. It's like,
Did you
that's
hear about
money
his
that we,
birthday party?
oh, he wants a military parade for something along the lines of like $92 million.
Yeah.
That's something that, oops, that's something that communist and totalitarian fascist governments have completely done in the past. So,
Yeah. And
yeah, I agree about that.
Our Head Start here in Southern Oregon may have to close on April 18th because they have no funding. But we can have a 92 million parade for the president.
All to satisfy his tiny penis and oversized ego.
Yeah. See, this is why sometimes I feel like I'm gray and crazy.
Oh.
Well, do you want to pull a card, my
So
friend?
yes, please.
Let's see what Spirit has to say. Oh, Spirit, please share us the message that you have for us today. Help us. All the dogs are coming in right now. They're like, hey, it's a party.
My doggies are, oh,
Oh, I see a
they're
tail.
here for you.
I, I see a black tail. Okay, the first one is this is Six of Cups.
Okay.
And this reminds us
Oh,
that,
6 of Wands. Okay.
yeah, the
Love
Six
it.
of Wands. Oh, sorry, Six of Wands.
I love the artwork.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you were saying this reminds us.
Well, what do you see in that picture, Christina? Let me put that up there for you. Do you see it?
I do. I see like uh I see with the arrows and the spears, I see what looks like a warrior princess on her horse, um, standing for a very noble cause.
Yes. What do you pick
What
up
do
on?
you see?
What do you pick up on that?
Oh, the warrior
Well, reminds me of a young
princess.
person.
Mm.
Do you see a younger person there?
Oh, I do. Thank you for holding it closer. I need better glasses.
Sorry, sorry.
I do. No, no, you're good. Um, do you think the youth is going to lead the country?
No, no, I hope not. I mean oh, I thought you said the youth are going to leave the country, and then I
Oh,
got it.
not leave.
I get
Are
it.
they going to lead?
You're
Do you
going
think
to
they're going to
leave.
lead us?
Yes, this
Yes.
means victory. This means coming forward, that they're gathering together. You know, how cool is that? That they're seeing the unjust, the things that, for example, that Elon is a, gamer. Did you hear about that?
Gamer, really? I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, he's a gamer and he was on his private jet and he was playing one of his games and all of a sudden he had trolls. Trolls came in. They found out who he was and they basically said very unkind things about him.
Really?
Yeah, say you're the worst, you should go back to your own country, kind of stuff. And you can look it up and we can send the link about the report. And he is
Interesting.
yeah, so here is, just think about this. One of the richest man in the world, he has trolls following him on his gaming platform.
Hmm.
Would I mean they those kids, they're just kids. I mean, yeah, they were trolling him, but they were speaking their mind. They're expressing their feeling of how they feel about what he's done to our country.
Right.
That's what's more than some of our Democrat Congress people have done.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
Interesting, you know.
And I love the picture showing her on her horse because I mean, right now, what's happening is not just to our human friends, it's to our animal friends. With this administration not giving two shits about what happens to nature, what happens to animals, basically declaring like an all-out war on endangered species, and they just don't care what happens
No.
to anyone but themselves and their billionaire buddies. So I love that this shows this woman going into battle with her animal friend.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
it's just awesome to see, It's really empowering to see what's happening and, you know, it just kind of pretty powerful. Here is the Two of Cups. Do you see it there?
I do, and it's kind of got another theme of like man joins with animal.
Yeah, very true. And this represents that two hearts come together, soul, body, and mind.
Hmm.
The Two of Cup represents the flow of love. So whatever we decide to do, what we choose to do, we should do it with love. And love is love.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, damn it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
What?
Love is love.
Love
I
is
mean, I
love.
I
And
mean, I just,
you know,
yeah.
I guess Milani just did a talk and she said that she's been gathering love. She's been pulling herself and she transmute love.
Hmm,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. What was the conversation in regards to? I mean, what
When she
what was
has
she
difficult moments, she, instead of running away, she gathers the love that she has and she faces her fears with love.
okay.
Yeah. Oh, 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 oh. And speaking of love, we have the
Uh,
lover.
another woman with animal card.
Yeah.
Another human animal card. I like it.
Now, what I see here is we have the two opposites,
Okay.
you know? And right now, I think for so long, we've had the opposite of the Democrat and the Republican and the mega, and we need to come together as one and be lovers together for this country. Because I always truly believe at the end of the day, every American wants a safe place. We want food on our table, a roof over our head, and we want peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that should be the right of everyone to have.
And that we need to come together at this time.
I truly hope we do before
Yeah.
it's,
And like Corey said, if we want to see change, it comes from the people. We the people.
who was he, do you know who he was talking about in the interview, the woman that all of that happened to? Because I missed the very beginning of that.
I will find out and I will put in the description for you.
Okay, yeah, I know he was speaking of a woman in the suffragist movement, and I was thinking how incredible it was when he said that the president actually got out and protested with her. I mean, these are the
Yeah.
kind of leaders that we need.
And what did we see here? An African American woman
Yep.
symbolizing the youth. So I think the message is focus on love, focus on how we can bring each other together and, you know, stop the crazy separation
Yeah.
and focus on love. And even with Melania, we can take our fear and we can transmute it to love.
I
Amen.
was gonna make a wise crack. Can we transmute Trump to love? Is it possible?
Maybe.
It's possible. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, he was, hopefully God loves him too. So,
Good point. Very, very good point.
and even though that we disagree, he's teaching us things about us and things that we need to focus on and how to make it better. He always calls us
Absolutely.
radical. And I say, instead of being mad whenever time he says, oh, the radical left. And I'm going to say, you know what? Yes, I am radical. And I love being radical because he is the one of the best manifestors I know. And when he says that we're radical, I say, yes, we are radical. I want free
Yeah,
healthcare for everyone in the United States. That's radical. I want great education for every child in this country. That is radical. You know,
radical humanity.
yeah. And so I
Yeah,
say, yeah, let's be radical together.
I'm a child of the 80s. Let's bring back radical. Radical was rad.
Well, he likes to call us radical.
So, okay. Thanks for
Amen.
calling me rad.
And every time he tells us the radical love, we just go, cheers. Yep, we are.
Right? Yeah. You forgot to abbreviate it. It was rad.
Yeah. Okay, Christina. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Once again,
Thank you.
this is
See,
Teresa and
this is
Christina with
Christina.
some spiritual.
Politics.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Stop.